everybody, Templar here, and have I got a class for you. Have you ever wanted to stride through the fields of battle, arrows glancing off your armor, minor scrapes and scratches, being healed as if blessed from heaven? If yes to any of those questions, then the Longsword and Shield is your class of choice. The Longsword and Shield is a tanky support class designed around healing your allies and basically disrupting as much of the enemy lines as possible. The build for it is pretty straightforward. You want to get your life as high as possible. So as you can see, my current life total is 27,314. And I do that by maxing my toughness. Each point of toughness increases your health by 100. The reason you want your toughness to be maxed out and your life as high as possible is because you have a % health heal for you and your allies. Your armor of choice will be heavy, and if you do have the money, I would recommend getting a full guardsman, preferably crafted, so you can get your life total as high as possible. The skills for the Longsword and Shield are pretty straightforward. You have With Valor, which allows you to strike twice, and then finish with a kick, which will knock the enemy down. I personally use With Valor, as it's a good AoE clearing ability for your enemy's shield units, and allows your spear charges or your guard charges to break through their lines easier. The next ability is Paladin 3. You basically do 2 swings that remove the target's speed, and I only really maxed it out for the next ability, but it could be good if you have issues chasing people down. It does remove their speed by 50%. The third ability, which is literally what makes the Longsword and Shield, is Mercy of Heaven. As you can see, it restores 3% of your health, which is why we max toughness, for 8 seconds. It also restores 10% of your max health instantly, and restores the health of nearby allies. This ability right here, man, it can make a heroic age unit last basically forever, as long as you don't get ganged up by 5 or more heroes. And if you're building, no matter what you build a longsword for your skills, you want to have Mercy of Heaven. Your ultimate of choice, I personally like Clash of Shields, because it allows you to charge through all archer units without dying, basically, and it one-shots a lot of types of archers, especially the archers you'll see commonly. You can also use it to disrupt enemies' shield wall formations or cav charges. You can cav charge and you don't die from the cav charge if you're using this. If there's enemies escaping, you can also slow them by 75% for 2 seconds, which gets upgraded into 3 seconds once you get it, but I don't have that yet. The next ability of choice is Shield Bash. Shield Bash, you hit your opponent twice, which it severely damages their block, and it knocks them back, and you recover from stun. So it's a good 1v1 ability, or it's a good ability to kind of knock the enemy off of your units so you can heal them up a little bit without them dying. The other ultimate is Sally Forth. I haven't really used, well obviously I don't have Sally Forth, so I can't say I've used it, but I have had it used against me a few times, and if you're going for more of a DPS longsword, which I have seen a few people do, this ability does put work in. You can also chain it on multiple heroes at the same time. Like if you use it when 2 people are side by side, it'll hit both of them for some odd reason. Yeah, so if you want that kind of DPS, maybe, if you don't think Clash of Shield is worth it, you could go for Sally Forth. I don't think it'll be game-changing, really. The next ability that's also a heal is Martial Prowess. You keep your shield up, and you basically slash around you twice, and it does reduce damage taken by 30% while it's active, and it restores 5% of your health. Personally, I was going to use this ability instead of With Valor, but it turns out that I didn't really need the extra healing, and this one, Martial Prowess, doesn't do as much DPS as Valor. And as you're really tanky and you don't have a lot of DPS, any little extra you can get, especially with Valor, is way preferred over the 5% heal on Martial Prowess, because you will not die anyways. The only time I ever die is my Longsword is if I get surrounded by enemies and cut down. Like, Longsword is extremely overpowered. The final ability Longsword has is Nightly Vows. Nightly Vows increases your speed by 50% when maxed out, and it does increase the speed of your allies by 30%. I obviously haven't used this ability, but I have had it used against me a few times where they'll take their Imperial Spear Guard and they'll Knightly Vow them and Zerg past you and basically Pac-Man chomp you. So yeah, here's my skills of choices here. With Valor, Shield Bash, Mercy of Heaven, and Clash of Shields. You can chain with Valor and Shield Bash together to make one really long combo that puts out a good chunk of life or cuts down a ton of units. So I would recommend this setup, but you can change it to whatever you want, obviously. And yeah, when we get into combat, I'll show you how overpowered Longsword is. Units that go with Longsword, I'd recommend more of the tankier units, like Imperial Spear Guard or Men-at-Arms, as they're some of the tankiest units out there. And with that, I will queue into a siege, and I will see you guys soon. So I know I was going to show you a whole siege, but I figure I'd just show you clips. Basically, this kind of moment is a Longsword specialty. See how a lot of allies are low health? Boom, pop a heal. They're going to start healing. Pretty straightforward. You want to make sure you lead the front of the charge. People will generally follow you where you go. It's very easy for you to take objectives and hold points because of your tank ability. And yeah, so that's pretty simple. Alright, here's another point of the map, same battle. Us leading the charge up the tower. As you can see, the enemy can't stop us much. We have a lot of stuns. He's got gunners though, so what we want to do is charge into them and knock them over. And basically charge our units off the tower, because we're tanky enough to tank it for a little bit. Charge our units off the siege tower and just slaughter them all. Nothing he can do to stop us. I mean, he has a longsword also, but... or no, he's a short sword, but... oh, there's some more units here. You just want to go out in front of them like this. The enemy will attack them a little bit. And just tank the hits for the boys. And your units will do the rest. Basically the longsword specialty, get in this shit, and make sure everybody gets out of this shit. And yeah, look at that, pretty simple. You can basically wade through all the guns and you won't die. If you guys do want full siege battles with the videos, let me know. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not. It kind of makes the video a lot longer. I'm trying to keep them short. And if you do like the quality of the guide, I can change things. But if you do like it, please like and subscribe so that I know people are enjoying the videos. Hopefully you guys learned something about the longsword and shield. Have a nice day.